Welcome, welcome everybody. I see everybody's piling on. Please say hello and where you're from. I know Eric and I are both from Henderson. We're literally neighbors, so that's cool. Eric's coming from his home office. I'm coming from mine. And we just want to know where you guys are coming from. So please hop on, say hello. We've got Julie from the UK. We've got Florida in the house, Kansas, Nashville, Tennessee. Welcome, welcome, you guys. All right, so you guys know the famous Eric Worre already. Hopefully you do. Hopefully you've come to Vegas and seen him in a live event. That's where I first met Eric Worre, actually. And, you know, when I was a beginner network marketer and I had no idea what I was doing, I looked at his books, I looked at his training, and I learned a great deal. And I remember back in 2012, actually, I was reading his book, and I remember specifically I was reading chapter 2, and I did kind of like a book report on Facebook, and I remember just writing this all out. I'm like, man, this is like amazing content. I tagged Eric. We weren't friends at the time, so I had to tag his fan page, and he approved it. He approved it on his wall, and I was like, oh my gosh, Eric approved my post. And after that, something crazy happened, and this was like a light bulb moment for me, you guys. All these people started following me after that, and I was like, oh my gosh, all Eric's people are now following me. This is insane. So after that, I'm like, I know how to do social media now. Watch. You just got to do book reports on these authors' books. That's all it is. But greetings, everybody from South Africa. We got New York in the house, South Florida. All right, we are right at 3:01. And I realize a lot of you guys are still hopping on here, but we like to keep these things right on time. So let's get this party started. So without further ado, you guys, I would like to introduce the one and only Eric Worre. If you've never seen his face before, you've probably heard of Network Marketing Pro. He's the one that coined the term GoPro, and I've never stopped saying it since I've learned this concept. You know, it was kind of a light bulb moment, even just to use that phrase, you guys. Become a professional in network marketing. If you really want to succeed here, become a professional at network marketing. So he's the one that coined that term, and he's, as we know, an author and industry-wide famous trainer. He's the king of all MLM events, literally. As you can see, he's set up his house to look like an event. So without further ado, Eric, please say hello and to our audience. These are all, everybody in this chat is all from My Daily Choice. So we are here and welcoming you with open arms today.
Well, hey, Jenna, and hey, everybody. Great to see you today. So fun to be able to connect. I love your flower wall. Your flower wall is really strong.
Thank you. I need one like yours though, with the My Daily.
Yeah. We're working on it. Well, I just want to say hi to everyone. Congratulations on all your success. I've been watching what you've been doing over the course of, wow, I don't know, the last many years, but the last 90 days have been extraordinary, right?
It has, you know. It's a weird time for businesses, you know, but I feel like network marketing is still going strong. And our company specifically, we had our biggest month ever in April, and that's probably because 420 is in that month, and we happen to be cannabis fans around here. So biggest month ever. We did 5 million in one day. It was a record-breaking day and month for us. So we haven't slowed down, that's for sure. But let's shift gears a little bit. For those of you who don't know you, regardless of my introduction that I just gave you, I want to know your background before the Eric Worre we see today, right? I want to know your background, your history as a networker. You know, like I love hearing, we talked to Todd last week. We're going to talk to Ray Higdon next week. And tell us a little bit about your background and where you kind of came from, how you found network marketing, and why you chose to make this your career.
Well, some people get inspired and they seek out network marketing because it's better than other forms of entrepreneurship. Other people get involved out of desperation, and that was me. I was not one of those like really smart people that was choosing the best way to be an entrepreneur. I just had a cash flow problem, a serious cash flow problem as a young man. I barely escaped high school. I didn't go to college. I had 18 jobs by the time I was 23 years old. Little family started, and I was already out of money. I was already in debt. I was already scared that I wasn't, that I had too much month at the end of my money. I'd run out of money. I'd still have another 10 days that I'd have to just sit there. And I was always stressed. I was afraid of the mail showing up and embarrassed about my lack of follow through on my promises to my family and to myself. And good fortune came my way in the form of network marketing. One of my mentors introduced me to this network marketing profession. And I had initially said no because it just seemed too outrageous, too good to be true. But I quickly swallowed my pride, changed my opinion, and decided to get involved. And that was in January of 1988. So a long time ago, 32 years ago, 32 plus. And I'd love to tell you that I was a rocket ship to the moon, but I wasn't. I went full-time pretty quickly. I made just enough money to survive, not to have any freedom. My first 3 years were tough. It was a grind for my first 3.5 years or so. I made enough money to pay the bills, not enough to get all the way out of debt. I made enough money to get from event to event, but not enough money to have the lifestyle. I had the pin, I had the fancy pin from the company, and I had a rank and I had a title, but you know how it is. I mean, somebody makes $80,000 a year in network marketing. After you pay taxes and everything else, it's not exactly, you get to retire, that kind of money. So full-time, struggling, doubted myself a lot, and I finally made a decision to be a professional 3.5 years in at an event, and decided to become an expert and stop worrying about my upline or what the company was going to do or the next product that needed to come out or compensation plan that I hoped would change or any of that stuff, looking for that magical distributor who's going to change everything for me. I let go of that. And I just took responsibility with what I needed to do. And I got to tell you, once you make that decision, everything changes. It didn't take long. Another 3.5 years after that, I was $1 million a year earner inside of this profession by the time I was 29 years old. And I'd love to tell you if that was continued to be a rocket ship for the last 32 years. But again, in every business, in every entrepreneurial thing, there's ups and downs, there's challenges, there's opportunities, there's pitfalls, there's betrayal, and there's best friends. I mean, it's all mixed into a career in any business. And what I love most about network marketing is it's very forgiving. It forgave me of a lot of shortcomings. I had to grow, I had to get better, but it didn't fire me. The profession itself didn't fire me. And the skills ended up creating a place for me. And then 11 years ago, decided to, for a bunch of reasons, decided to start doing some generic training as a way to give back to the profession. And that turned into, a few years after that, it turned into my whole life. So it's, like the movie, It's a Wonderful Life. I'm super grateful. If you ever hear me complaining about anything, just come and slap me as hard as you can slap me, because network marketing's created an incredible life for me.
That's great. And your story sounds a lot like my story and many of the people that have succeeded in this industry. It's usually not, I was an overnight success. I don't feel like that's anybody's story, at least, not their first 3 years. And oftentimes not their first 6 years. I'm 6 years into My Daily Choice right now. That's how long we've been around. And, it wasn't without ups and downs, peaks and valleys, and, struggles along the way. And I feel like sometimes that kind of can discourage people initially, because if you are starting into this industry from desperation and then you realize immediately that, wait a minute, this is also hard work. Like life out there is hard, and life in network marketing is also hard. So you got to choose your hard, and you got to decide which avenue you're going to take this seriously and really become that professional. And that's something that I learned from you. Speaking of which, I want to ask you, what taught you network marketing? Was it a specific mentor? Was it a specific book that kind of created that shift where because your book wasn't out yet because you had to write it, right?
Yeah.
So for before your book came out, how did you learn to become a professional in this industry?
Well, it started with me with a series of mentors. Some of them were around. One of them was my father's partner in real estate, guy who believed in me. He wasn't necessarily more skilled in network marketing than me, but his belief in me was really, really a big deal. I wanted to live up to his expectation. He was a millionaire, successful guy, and he was one of the first ones. And then I found a gentleman by the name of Michael Nelson, who was cross-line to me, lived in Minneapolis where I lived at the time, and I just decided to earn my way into his inner circle and learn as much as I could from him, because he couldn't profit from me. I wasn't his downline. So I didn't demand it. I didn't stomp my feet. I just earned it. I earned my way into his inner circle. And then I started to seek out, once I made the decision to go pro, I started to seek out who were the best people in the company at any particular skill. And then either study them or interview them or attend their trainings, take the notes, and then put it into practice. I read all the books I could read. I went to every event that there was. I never missed an event. I committed to being a student, not just in theory, but in practice. You know, there's a difference between writing it down, having it in a journal, and actually going and doing it. So I would find a thing. It's like, give you an example. How many times are you going to have somebody say to you, I don't have the money to do this business? For the rest of your life, that's going to happen. So I just decided that I was going to learn how do people answer that question and get it over with once and for all. So I did. I went and did my little research and figured out how to answer that question. And then I said, okay, the other one I get all the time is I don't have the time. How do I deal with that? And is there a way that I could deal with any objection? Is there a formula I could come up with that I could teach? Not only I could do, but I could teach. And I started to apply that to all the different skills inside of network marketing. And so I would say the profession itself was a mentor. Most of my mentors, they never knew they were my mentors. So like Jim Rohn was a mentor. He didn't know it. Brian Tracy was a mentor. He didn't know it. Les Brown was a mentor. He didn't know it. My top earner in the company was a mentor. He didn't know it. I was just soaking it up and practicing, soaking it up and practicing. And at the end of the day, I found out that most of the learning comes in the doing. Not in the study, not in the notes, but in actually doing it. You'll learn more by going and doing 100 presentations than you'll learn by studying for 100 hours on how to do a presentation. You know what I mean?
Right.
If you just go do it. Yeah, if you do it, you go, oh, that's why that worked. Oh, okay. And then you improve.
You got to learn it on the job. And you know, something I like about your training that's different, I feel like, than other trainers is, and myself included, I call myself an educator in this profession, although not on the scale that you're doing it, of course. But a lot of trainers focus on mindset. And they say that it's like 90% of, you know, what kind of goes into the success. I talk about mindset. I talk about the law of attraction and all these kinds of things. But you're very much skill focused on how to market, what to say, what not to say, how to create your list, how to do your daily method of operation. Those are all things I've learned from going to your trainings. So my question is, where does mindset play into your training, or how big of a deal is it?
It's huge. It's huge. But here's what I found out. I got to tell you this. Mindset is equal to skills. It's equal to strategy. Those are the three big pillars, right? Mindset, skill set, strategy. If you want to be a network marketing professional. Now, for me, I lacked so much in confidence and my own self-esteem that what I found was if I had to figure my mindset out first before I took action, I was gonna need therapy. It was gonna take 15 years. I was never gonna get there. You know what I mean? So, but if I learned how to do, my first skill I ever learned was how to tell my story. And my mentor taught me how to tell my story. And I could tell my story in 2 minutes. And once I learned how to tell my story and I knew that it worked and I'd practiced it, I wanted to do it. Even though I was scared and insecure and everything else, I was kind of proud of my little story. So I would tell it, and every time I got on the phone with somebody, I would tell them my story. Every time I did a little home meeting, I would tell them my story. Every time in today's world, you get on a Zoom, I would tell them my story. You know what I mean? If I went to lunch with somebody, I'd tell them my story. And it worked so well. If I did a three-way call, I would tell them my story. And what it did is it built confidence in me. And with the confidence, I took more action. And the action itself started to work on my mindset. Does that make sense? So and once I learned how to do the opportunity presentation, my mindset, by doing it and doing it and doing it, my mindset started to change and it started to not be so scary from the doing, right? So yes, if you don't figure out how to think like an entrepreneur, if you don't figure out how to be nice to yourself in the way you think about yourself, the way you talk about yourself, if you don't learn how to treat other people like human beings, not just like prospects all the time, it's going to be a hard business for you. But if you don't learn the skills, it's going to be hard too. You can get your mindset all figured out, but if you don't know what to say, you're not a professional. You're a doctor with a scalpel, doesn't know how to do the surgery. It doesn't matter how excited you are.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So it worked for me both ways. I cannot say that skill set is more important than mindset. And I cannot say, if I had to pick one, I'd pick mindset because that will cause you to build the skill set. But for me, even though I lacked in mindset and I had a bunch of bad programming in my computer between my ears, the skills helped me find a way out. The skills created a path for me to be able to figure out the mindset and the strategy in order to be able to marry to those things and create a career.
Yeah, and I think, with more skills, you naturally get more confident because it's and
absolutely.
Some of the security comes from being in a new industry and being in a new company, and it's foreign at first, and it's interesting mentoring new people that are just now coming in and they're getting those, I don't have enough time objections, I don't have enough money objections, and having to navigate through those. Once you have the answers and you have your rebuttals and you've got it, your confidence begins to grow and it becomes second nature. But let's talk a little bit about skills. You talk a lot about daily method of operation. It's a question I get all the time, especially with today's online world and all the wonderful distractions we have with the media, the social media, and all of our friends and opinions all in between. What is the ideal daily method of operation for a network marketing professional?
Well, there's different kinds of days. There are building days, there are supporting days, and there are lost days. Okay? And most of us have a lot of lost days. The day started and it ended and we didn't really move the ball forward, and that just happens inside of our profession because there's so much forgiveness. But if you think about this between, productive building days and supporting days, you're training your team, you're working with your team, you're encouraging them, you're doing three-way calls, you're doing some getting started stuff. You're making sure they understand what's coming up with an event, you're getting them connected, you're educating them on your product. All that supportive stuff is important. So there's that kind of daily method of operation for that day. But then the building day is just about how many prospects are you talking to? How many people are you inviting, presenting to, following up, answering objections? How many people are you educating as to what it is that you offer to the world? So I mean, if you want to get a general global, here's a template for a daily method of operation. Use your product on a daily basis. Because when you have an emotional attachment to your product, you're going to be more convincing in sharing it with others. 2, share your product with somebody else. Whether it's having a sample or telling a story or giving some information or encouraging them to try it or whatever. Number 3, share your opportunity. Here's the opportunity that we have inside of this business, promoting these incredible products that change lives. And use whatever methodology that the company suggests or your upline suggests that you use. Number 4, engage in some sort of personal or professional development. 15 minutes, 30 minutes, read a good book, listen to a podcast, work on you on a daily basis. And number 5, promote whatever the next event is that the company or your upline or your organization has on the schedule, whether it's online or in person, whatever that is. Those 5 things as a general template: use the product, share the opportunity, build you, engage in some personal development, and promote events. Those core 5 things, everybody can do those 5 things in 2 hours a day or less. And if you want to be a full-time person, just do those things more than a part-time person would do in a small period of time.
I know you guys thought that he was going to give us a really complex answer, some secret to success here, but it really is that simple. So
here's what I would tell you. The secret is simplicity is hard.
Yeah.
Simplicity is really, really hard. Simplicity takes a genius. Simplicity takes art. Simplicity takes somebody who's willing to defend against all distractions, all online distractions, all media distractions, every distraction that's going on in our politics and everything else around the world, trying to get us to pay attention to them instead of paying attention to our future. Weeds grow in every garden. That's a big, complicated opportunity. To make it simple, and I know you got some great leaders inside your organization that are absolute geniuses at simplicity. Absolute geniuses. Some of the best that there's ever been. And what they'll tell you is complicated is easy. It's easy to throw out something complicated. Simple is hard. To defend it and say, no, I know you got this really cool idea, but we're going to stay with this because this works, this duplicates, this will build momentum. I think that's been one of the big keys to your success. Outside of, I think, the superpower that your company has is the heart of the ownership. The heart of the executive team. I think that's the superpower of the company. And then I would say your field leadership is driven by all the right agendas. They're super talented, but again, they're heart driven. I think it's a top-down culture. And then I think you have extraordinary products. So the extraordinary products you tie to that, and then of course you have innovation when it comes to compensation and everything else. But I will tell you, I think if you had the innovations in compensation, you had the same products, but if you had this different heart, it wouldn't be running like it's running. So they're really nice. The people are really nice, but I think they're also really diligent to protect from all the distractions that are easy to show up inside of organizations. So simple is hard.
Simple is hard. And, we were the underdogs for a long time and probably most doubted company to succeed. And because we never had corporate experience, and we're not ashamed to say that. We were affiliates first and we came from the field. And I think that created a need in the industry almost, where we felt like we've been on both sides of the coin. We've seen, in front of the scenes, we've seen behind the scenes, and we wanted to merge the two fields together, our field leadership and the corporate culture all in one. And I think that is important. And, there's a lot of reasons why people fail at network marketing. Sometimes they blame the company, right? Sometimes they blame their leadership. They blame the products, maybe not shipping on time or whatever. There's a myriad of reasons why people fail. But what do you think the biggest reason is people ultimately fail at network marketing? Because, you know, some people who are hesitant to even get involved in the first place sometimes don't get involved because they already think they're going to fail. But you've seen all walks of life in this industry. What would you say is the biggest reason?
I think there's three reasons. The first reason is we are the problem because we set up unrealistic expectations. We tell people it's easy when it's not. We tell people it's fast when it's not. We highlight the stories of the superstars that maybe had some previous experience and they went straight to the top, and that's not necessarily average or whatever, typical. So everybody's looking at those and they feel like a loser when they're not going the same kind of speed. They're comparing themselves to other people and all that stuff. So anytime your expectation is here and reality is here, what's in between is disappointment, frustration, disillusionment. So they're like, oh man, I mean, I thought this was going to be like magic beans. I just dropped into the ground and I was just going to go straight to the top. And I just found out this is work. This is hard. People look at me funny when I talk about this. You know, my friends are rolling their eyes at me. My family stopped talking to me. Whatever. So expectations are number one. We have to set realistic expectations, reasonable expectations. Let people know that the price of entry here is very low, but to get to the top, the price is not paid in cash. It's paid in blood, sweat, and tears. It's paid in effort. It's paid in working your face off. That's what it's paid in. That's what all the top earners here did. So just know that there's no way to the top that doesn't require an enormous amount of effort. But you don't have to write a check to get there. As a matter of fact, you can't write a check to get there. You've got to work to get there. So expectations is number one. Number two is fear. We are in the fear management business. Make no mistake. We're trying to manage fear. Fear of failure, fear of the unknown, fear of being embarrassed, fear of being mocked by your social circle, fear of doing something unusual, fear of working on your own, fear of being your own boss. Lots of different fears out there. So some people are just not willing to face their fears necessary to grow a business. They'd rather fit into somebody else's dream than build their own. They'd rather do as they're told from an employer than tell themselves what to do and have the anxiety of wondering if it's the right thing. So fear is the second aspect. And the third aspect is programming. Some people have been programmed that network marketing is bad. Some people have been programmed that only the people at the top make money. Some people have been programmed that it's safer and better to be an employee than to be an entrepreneur. Some people have been programmed to only work when somebody else is going to give you some consequences if you don't. You know what I mean? I'll give you one quick example. If I bring up the word work around the world, what comes to mind when I say that? What most people say is pain, obligation, drudgery, traffic, stress. That's what matches with work. So that's why we say, thank God it's Friday, because now the weekend I don't have to work. Or, oh my gosh, it's Monday. Tomorrow I got to go back to work. No, I can't go have fun right now because I have to work. So we get involved inside of our business. We employ ourselves. And for the first time, there's no consequences really if we don't do anything. So we take a week off. You know, right away. We haven't put in any work because we've been trying to get away from it. And we only work in our job not to get fired. You know what I mean? Or to pay the bills just, you know, and barely survive. So you got to reprogram your mind when it comes to time, risk, work, support, effort. You know, an employee-minded person will look for the support and demand support from their team in the company. An entrepreneur says, I'm the support system. I don't, you know, I appreciate what you give me, but I'll take care of it. I got this, right? So expectations, fear, programming. Those are the reasons why people walk away before they strike it big. You can reprogram your mind. I did. Your hunger can be stronger than your fears. Mine were, right? And my expectations, the best thing that happened to me, pardon me, the expectations that happened to me, my expectations were big too. But the greatest thing that I had going for me is once I joined network marketing, I had no place to go. Best thing that ever happened to me. I wasn't really hireable. I'd walked away from the last job that I had. I was full-time in network marketing. So when it got tough, when it got tough, I just kind of had to suck it up because there's no place I could go that I could make more money right now than I could inside of network marketing. So my desperation actually helped me. If I had a big resume, I can go back to some job. I would have walked away as soon as it got hard. But thank God I didn't, you know. So those are my 3 reasons.
Yeah, and you know, you're spot on about programming and work. I mean, we even tell our kids, I have to go to work, right? And if we apply the same work mindset when we join network marketing, first of all, I know we always tell people you got to work it like a business, not a hobby, right? We still interject this terminology, but I do believe you can do both. You can work and have fun at the same time. You can actually enjoy your work, right? You can actually.
I mean, all the successful people I know, guess what employees do? They work when they work, and when they turn it off, they turn their brain off, and they just totally don't work. Let me tell you what all the millionaires do, all the entrepreneurs do, all the successful people do. They never turn their brain off completely. They might be sitting on a boat in the middle of the French Mediterranean, but they're thinking about something. You know, they're planning, they're writing something down, they're stirring something up in their mind. Entrepreneurs, and not because they're workaholics, because for an entrepreneur, entrepreneurship is passion, it's contribution, it's creation, it's life, it's legacy, it's purpose. Why would you want to turn those things off? It's the reason why I don't understand retirement. Why would a person want to retire from contribution and purpose and passion and life? Legacy. Why would you want to retire from that? Doesn't even make any sense. But so I think, I mean, Maureen and I and our family, we don't have work life and other life. We just have life. We just live.
Yeah, you know, Richard Branson says, you know, when he talks about retirement, he says, I don't stop working because I love creating new things. And I think other people should get into creating more things. And that's really all kind of entrepreneurs do, is they're creating solutions to everyday problems. And I think once you learn that becoming a network marketing professional is none other than solving a lot of problems for people.
Let me give you an example. Richard Branson, one of the most successful billionaire guys in the world. I talked with him a couple days ago. And I said, how you doing? What's going on? I know you got a lot of stress with all this, with your airlines and your cruise ships and your hotels. And he said, you know, it's interesting times, but this is the times when people have to use their imagination. They got to be creative. They got to be resourceful. And he said, I'm excited about the opportunity. I'm excited about the chance to be able to make it better. And every time there's resistance, then there's creativity. You know, so he said, I'm convinced all of my businesses will be better for this crisis, not worse. Even though it might be painful in the short term, they will end up being better, not worse. So, I mean, what a mindset in the middle of, I mean, his portfolio got smacked across the face. So that's what entrepreneurs do. We just do that.
Yeah, anytime there are painful experiences in our life, I think it's important to look at these times for opportunities for growth. Anytime we've been, you know, hit with a challenge, and there are many challenges running a network marketing company and being an affiliate. There's challenges no matter how you look at it, and those are always opportunities for you to grow. Somebody said on another video we did, and they said it's kind of like playing a video game, right? You can't get to the next level until you beat the boss, right? You got to fight the boss. And it's no different in life or in business.
Life is a game. I mean, the sooner you accept that, you know, what a lot of people want to do is spend a lot of time focusing on the fairness or unfairness of the game. Instead of arguing over the rules of the game, play with the rules that there are and tell the people who change the rules, make the rules, change the rules. But in the meantime, play with the rules you got, play the best you can, and win. What are the rules? What's the game? Win the game. That's the best way to take charge of your life, regardless of where you're sitting today. I want to say one thing to everybody that's watching this. I want you to know that I'm incredibly proud of you for doing what you're doing, for being uncommon, for doing something that's not what normal people do, for working from home and building your dream and helping other people do that, for facing your fears every single day. You're my heroes. Other people don't know this, but I know that it's lonely and it's emotional and it's frustrating at times. But I just want to tell you a couple things. First, I'm proud of you. And second, it's worth it. The effort is worth it. The pain is worth it. The struggle is worth it. The challenges are worth it. The other side of all this is a business and a career and a future and everything else. But the bigger part of the other side is this business, your company, will force you to become a better version of you. It's the greatest benefit of our profession that nobody even talks about. Your decision to be part of this business and your continuation with it will force you to be a better version of you. And that's the prize. They could take all the money. They could take all the stuff. You could replace it very, very quickly because of how valuable you're going to become in the process of doing this. So
absolutely. And the longer you resist that, the longer you're delaying your success. At some point.
Yeah, just step into it. Be part of the process. Stop looking out there. Look in here. The answer to your future is in here. I promise you, it's not in your team. Because once you become the person you need to become, your team is going to be a reflection of you. Your team is going to be a reflection of the person that you're becoming. Right? At the beginning, when I started network marketing, that was not an exciting prospect, my team being a reflection of me. I needed a team that was much better than me. But eventually, I learned that I needed to come, I was kind of pitiful, so my team was kind of pitiful. I was kind of weak, so my team was kind of weak. I got a little stronger, guess what? My team got a little stronger. I got a little more confident, guess what? My team got more confident. I got some more skills, guess what? My team got more skills. And pretty soon, I wasn't just the only leader. I was one leader that had tons of leaders around the world, hundreds of thousands of people around the world doing it with or without me. But it was a reflection of a decision I made to become a better version of myself today than I was yesterday, and a better version tomorrow than I was today, even if it was 1%, even if it was a tiny little thing, even if it was reading 10 pages of a book or doing one thing that scared me. Making a phone call that I was worried about or whatever, something. Doing something to move me forward made me stronger.
Absolutely. So my question is for you now, since you're in the know with companies everywhere in the industry, what strategies are working right now, do you feel like, for network marketing? And also, alternatively, what's not working?
Well, I think the big trends are online strategies are obvious right now. We need to reach more people through Zooms and through social media than we can through face-to-face right now, this moment. I'm hoping that lifts sometime soon. But in the meantime, it's actually a boom for the network marketing profession because we're reaching tons of people. And the growth and reach is extraordinary. So don't slow down. Even though summer, you're going to want to try and take some time off. Do not take time off during this momentum period of time. I think you're crazy if you do. Second is companies that have a serious focus and extraordinary commitment to product quality and product pricing are winning. The days of lazy products are over. You need great formulators. You need great in your case, different offerings. You need great pricing. You need great value when it comes to the product itself, because those that are competing with non-competitive products or trying to compete with those products are not winning. So I think you're doing very well in that regard. Those are two big trends. Outside of that, I would say there's some social media, but social media can be a little bit of a two-edged sword. Sometimes it's good to be able to use it to be able to get some attention. And sometimes you get some attention from regulators that's misunderstood. So there's a balance there that you need to kind of deal with on a corporate side. So if you're able to ride that balance and police it, but at the same time leverage it, I think that works well. The biggest thing I would tell you what's working is the heart-driven companies. And I don't mean that by being super soft. Why I mean that by being a real empathy and caring for the people in the field that are facing their fears every day. An acknowledgement of their effort from the blend between corporate and field, and then that heart extending to the consumers, the people who are using the products. That's really what's working well today around the world. And I would also say it's an interesting phenomenon, because I came from a school that I didn't really care about getting a customer. I just wanted to build a team, and I figured the customers would come. But the big data shows what some of the fastest growing companies in the world are doing today is they're getting an ocean of customers. And from that ocean of customers, they are upgrading those people to being distributors. And that's where most of their recruiting is coming from, is satisfied and enthusiastic customers, people who already have an emotional connection to the product. So those are the big trends that I'm seeing.
I think people are less afraid of network marketing than they were years ago. There's referral programs everywhere, even in traditional businesses. I mean, you can go to Amazon and you can set up an Amazon store. That's referral marketing. You go to your juice shop and they type your phone number in and it's referral marketing. So, I feel like the days the times are shifting where people are more accepted for this model.
They are a bit, but I would tell you, we hurt ourselves by telling everybody it's fast, it's easy, it's simple, everybody's winning, product sells itself, all that stuff. We continue to build our reputation with all that language. So when people start hearing those buzzwords, they go, oh, it's one of those things, right? But what I will say is, for sure, the entire world is waking up and saying, I need to find a way to earn money from home. What are my options? And they don't have to choose network marketing necessarily, but it needs to be on the list of doing their homework, because it beats all the rest. There's nothing that beats this in terms of leverage and opportunity and price of entry and support and everything else. It's just nothing. It's a perfect business.
And that's something that you've always said. Network marketing is not perfect. It's just better.
Yep.
It's better because there's less barrier of entry, less risk. There's less, financial risk, right?
Yeah, price of entry is very low. Upside is incredibly high. Support is incredible. It's flexible. It doesn't discriminate. Show me something that you can leverage like this. It just doesn't exist anywhere. The average small business in the United States is $55,000 for a person to start it. And 50% of those go out of business in the first 12 months. How would you have liked to just open up a restaurant 90 days ago? And spent your whole life savings to do it. You know what I mean? Versus what's the most somebody can spend to join your company? The most possible.
$5.99.
Yeah, the maximum you can do is $600. You're going to spend more on your logo for some small business than you will to get a whole bunch of product and be able to put yourself up into business, get all the tax benefits of doing it, and learn as you go. Show me how you can beat this. You can't. It's impossible. I'll do the Pepsi challenge with anybody, anytime, with any critic, with any news media, anybody. Every time I challenge them, they run away like scared little chickens. I'm just, come on, let's go. Let's have the debate. but they don't want to have this debate. They sure don't want to have it with me. Because, I mean, they look really silly real fast. This is amazing what we have. So you just have to step into it. Here's the other thing. All I would tell you is your upline's not going to do it for you, and the company's not going to do it for you, and you can't write a check to be able to get there. You got to work your butt off, and you got to face your fears. You got to reprogram your mind. You got to set reasonable expectations, right? You got to develop some skills. Give it some time. That's what you got to do.
And besides all of that great advice, I want to ask you as my last question for you today, what advice do you have for somebody that's been in the industry for a long time but hasn't hit their breakthrough yet? They've gone to the meetings, they've gone to, the events, they've studied your book, right? They've taken the training and all that.
Good soldiers, the good soldiers.
We call sometimes they're called professional meeting attenders. But
yes.
What is your advice for them?
At some point in time, and I say this with all due respect, I want you to listen to me because I love you. I love the fact that you're here. Somebody bought the story that if you don't quit, you're automatically guaranteed to win. And that's not true. That's not true. I'm sorry, it's not true. Now, quitting will guarantee you lose, but staying in and not stepping into your potential will not guarantee you win. The turtle and the rabbit, everybody talks about the turtle and the rabbit. Oh, just be the turtle. Inch by inch, it's a cinch. I don't know any network marketing success stories that were turtles. At some point, you have to be a rabbit and then the turtle. And then the rabbit again and then the turtle. So if you've been stuck and you need a breakthrough, pick a period of time, 3 days, 7 days, 30 days, 90 days, and decide to go 100%. Change my life, it'll change yours. And I mean 100%. Not dialing it in, showing up, saying that you're still here, you're a good soldier, and trying to, get a participation award. Going 100%. My first thing that changed my life is I went 100% for 90 days. As hard as I can go. 8 a.m. to midnight, 7 days a week for 90 straight days. And it was hard, and all I did was talk to prospects. All I did was follow up. All I did was grow. And if 90 days is too scary, do 30 days. If 30 days is too scary, do 7 days. 7 days is too scary, do 3 days. If 3 days is too scary, do 1 day. Go for 16 hours, see how many people you can talk to about your opportunity with no distractions. Go hard. You've got to just smash it in the face to bust through the plateau. You got to change the intensity if you want to have a breakthrough. Now, or change your expectation and just decide that it's nice to be around a nice company with nice products and nice people, and just treat this like a hobby, like you're, being a part of the church choir or being a part of the quilting club, and you're not expecting to make a whole bunch of money, and just stop beating yourself up. I have a family member that's beating herself up over not making enough money inside network marketing, but she's not really willing to do more. I just release the expectation, hang out with your friends, and stop. You don't need the money. Just enjoy it. Or change. So you can do either one of those two things. Either just enjoy where you're at, have fun, or go after it, crush it.
Step into your potential. I'm going to repeat that for you guys if you didn't hear that part. And I think that's the biggest resistance people have, is their fear to step into their potential. People have fear of failure, but they've also got fear of success. And deep down, that's a self-worth issue that you have to get over. You have to know that you deserve success. You deserve to win at this game, right? And you have to become a network marketing professional. So without further ado, Eric, tell us, where can we get the rest of your wisdom? Because we only got you on here for just a short time today. Where can we?
Look, you could just look up my name on social or whatever, networkmarketingpro.com. You can check out all the different kinds of stuff. I'm not here for any promotional purpose. I'm just here because you guys are friends. So many of the leaders in your field are friends. I'm proud of what you're doing. I'm excited for your future, and just happy to to connect with you today, see your smiling face. We live in the same town and we haven't hung out as much as we need to. So we got to figure out a way to hang out. You have a bigger gym in your house than I have in my house. I got this little puny gym. You got this big monster Olympic-sized gym. It's ridiculous. But anyway, we got to hang out and we got to do that. But everybody that's watching, listen. The world is not served by you playing small. Think bigger. Think bigger. Be stronger and move faster. Go after this. This is a moment. You know, there's going to be an awful lot of millionaires that were created from decisions that were made in 2020. You just got to decide if you're going to be one of them.
Love it.
So get out there, make it happen.
Thank you, Eric, for your time and hopping on here today. And all of you guys, thank you guys for hopping on, and we will see you guys next week.